Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley, physical therapist, life coach, and health coach. And I've never done a Facebook Live like this, just sitting down at my desk and, just wanted to talk to you tonight. So I appreciate you joining me, and I've got some, good educational content that I want to share with you tonight. And it's not going to be long, but I do want to remind you that I have an upcoming free 5-day jumpstart for any of you that are interested. If I don't have your email, I'm sending out some emails. You should have gotten an email in the last day or two from me, and I'll be even posting this video. But to get into that, I'm going to need to have your email. And then in a couple of days, I'm going to be posting a link because the 5-day free event starts on Saturday. And it's going to be in a private Facebook group, so you'll have to have a link to get into that private Facebook group. So, so hey, Martha. Good to see you, Martha. Thanks for joining me. I know there are a few more people on here, but I cannot tell who they are. It's just kind of the way things are set up here. Maybe I can scroll. Let me see. Nope. Martha is the only one I can see, but I see some more people are joining. So tonight I wanted to talk about cholesterol. Hey, Martha Vickers, good to see you too. Yeah. I wanted to talk about cholesterol. So I did this video last night with my private group. It's a Zoom call that we do every Monday night. But I felt like there's a lot of you that would want to know this information. And, I have to be, this is a disclaimer. I am not your medical doctor. I am not telling you to stop this medicine or start this medicine. I'm just relaying research, okay? This is based on a lot of research, not only by me, but by a lot of doctors in the field, and I listen to so much content. I was literally, hey Cecilia, hey Ann, I was literally out pressure washing the fence today. I pressure washed my house, and we're pressure washing the fence, and I'm caulking the fence, and I'm just doing a lot of work outside, which I love. But I put in my ear pods and I just listen. Well, actually, not my ear pods. I put in my earphones, and trying to avoid some of that EMF. But and I just listen to podcasts. I listen to sermons. And isn't it sad? Heard today that, well, I have mixed feelings about that. You can say it's sad, but Charles Stanley, Dr. Charles Stanley, went to heaven. He just left this earth and went to heaven, and I just can't imagine what a glorious celebration that was. And I'm just going to tell you, he is at the top of my list of favorite preachers and just people. He just was a godly man. And if you one of my dear friends, Brenda Corley, she sends me his devotional every day. All right, so let's get to it, because I know that's what you're here for, is to hear educational content. So I want to talk about cholesterol. Now, everybody has cholesterol, and we all need cholesterol. So it's important that you know about cholesterol, because that's one of the things that they check when you go to the doctor. So you go and you get a traditional panel done, and they're giving you, what they're telling you is your LDL and your HDL, okay? So your HDL being your good cholesterol, your LDL being your bad cholesterol. That's what people think, all right? And that's your total cholesterol, and that's one piece of information. But the problem with that is you're missing a lot. There's a lot of more important, pertinent information that will help you to make decisions about your health. And that's what I advocate for, is getting the information that will help you make decisions about your health. It's kind of like, when you go to buy something, like we just bought a paint sprayer to spray the fence. And we did our research because we wanted the right information to get the sprayer that was right for our particular issue and need, okay? So that's why I teach this stuff. I want you to be educated, because I'm just going to tell you, many of your doctors do not know this information. They're busy running their practices. They're basing a lot of their decisions on the standard of care and not the most recent research. And so much of what's in the medical field is driven by the pharmaceutical industry. And so, I don't know if you know Dr. Mark Hyman, but he is one of my favorite doctors. And here's what he says about the cholesterol test. He said it's antiquated and it's the wrong test. Hello, Linda Richardson. Thank you for joining me. It's the wrong test. All right. But for so long, we have been told that having normal cholesterol levels is the key to our health. But what is normal, and what's actually being measured and overlooked through these antiquated tests? So we're going to talk about that today. But before you start looking at your cholesterol, you need to know, first of all, are you sick? So your white blood cell count, because that's going to affect your cholesterol readings totally. So that's one of the first things. So as you can see, what I'm trying to discuss here is that your doctor needs to be pulling a lot of pieces together, not just looking at your cholesterol, okay? So if your white blood count is up or down, that will affect your cholesterol readings. Also, your hormones. Your thyroid levels will definitely affect your cholesterol. So you have to get these fixed. So if your triglycerides are really high, and maybe you just need to get on some Synthroid, and that will totally bring your cholesterol down. All right. So, and then other things that make a difference is your race. If you are African American, there are different numbers that you need to look at. So there are a lot of things to consider here, but I'm just going to try to be really basic. All right. So these antiquated tests just don't give you the information you need to make a decision. So the test you really need to know is your triglyceride and your ratio. But what's even more important is the size of your cholesterol particles. So your LDL may be up, but which of your LDL particles are up? If it's your small LDL, small particles, then that is dangerous. And here's why. Those small particles are going to be traipsing through your arteries, and they will lodge in the walls of your arteries and cause strokes and heart attacks and inflammation. So, hey, Brenda, thank you for joining me. Okay, so the test you need to know is the particle size. And this is what tells us about those things that are carrying your cholesterol around. That's your HDL and LDL. And I'm going to give you an analogy in a minute to make sense. So LabCorp, if your doctor uses LabCorp, an NMR is a good test to have. Quest Labs does something called a cardiac IQ. So just having a regular lipid panel is not enough. So, hey, Peggy, thank you for joining me. All right. So you ask your doctor about these, and you shouldn't stand for any other test. You should ask for the test that's going to be the most pertinent to give you the right information. Because what so many doctors do is they come in and they say, oh, you have high cholesterol, we need to put you on a statin drug. Well, those statin drugs have side effects, and it may not even be necessary. There are definitely other things you can do that will bring your cholesterol down. So think about it this way. So you think about dump trucks carrying your cholesterol around. Okay, so your cholesterol is the dirt, and the dump trucks are your HDL and your LDL. All right, so the dump trucks are the particles. All right, so when you're testing particle size, what the real pertinent information, and that's not what you're learning, is the size of the particles. So so far, for example, you want to get a lipid profile, you're finding out the amount of dirt, all right? So the total amount of dirt, so cholesterol that you have, and how much of it is LDL and HDL, and that is important. But what is more important is the amount of dump trucks that you have to carry this cholesterol around, and that's your ratio. So the important thing to learn from your lab work is that if you have small dump trucks, more small LDL particles, you have a certain amount of dirt that you can carry. So it's going to be difficult for you to carry the necessary cholesterol if you have a lot of small particles, plus they're getting stuck in the walls of your arteries. So what we know is that if those small dump trucks, if there's too many, it's more concerning. And these are actually dangerous and put you at greater risk for heart disease because they get stuck in the arteries, and they cause inflammation around that, and inflammation in the body causes so many things. All right, so your small dense particles are about 20% of your total LDL, but you want to know what that number is. So the size of the dump trucks rather than your cholesterol particles is critically important. So the measure you get on your cholesterol test is in weight, it's in deciliters, but it doesn't tell you if your cholesterol is made up of 1,000 particles, small particles, or 100 fluffy particles. Now the fluffy particles, they just move along kind of like marshmallows through your bloodstream. They just kind of bounce along, and that's a good thing, okay? But you can't tell from these tests how many are big and how many are small. So ask your doctor for a particle size test. So it's like comparing golf balls and beach balls moving through your bloodstream. And you want these things to be able to move through there with ease. But with triglycerides, okay, the larger ones are the problem, not the smaller ones. So many people will bring up so in the comments, put yes if this is the first time you've heard about small particle cholesterol, the particle size. Just put yes or no, okay? All right. But some people talk about, hey Rob, hey Gail, good to see you. Yes, you have heard about it, Martha. I'm sure you have because you've been in some of my teaching. All right. So for instance, most of the time when people go to the doctor and they have high triglycerides, they are insulin resistant. They have metabolic syndrome, which that includes high blood pressure, that includes your hemoglobin A1C, and obesity. All right. So I just am going to tell you that your doctor's probably going to order a statin drug because that is the standard of care. So let me just digress just a little bit and discuss standard of care. So standard of care is what is the standard of care that is promoted and recommended by the American Medical Association and so many other associations that are funded by the drug industry. And so if your doctor doesn't recommend that, if you say you go in to see him and you have high cholesterol or your triglycerides are high and he recommends a statin, then that is the standard of care. But that's not necessarily the best care for you because there may be, and there most likely are, other ways that you can protect yourself. So, your triglycerides should be around 70 or 80, but if they're over 100, you should be concerned, but there are ways to bring that number down. And so it'll say small particle test. That's what it'll say, Martha. Yeah, if it was done. And a lot of times it's not done. Okay, so one of the best predictors, though, and this may be on your paperwork, of your risk for heart attack or heart disease is your triglyceride HDL ratio. So that's usually there, and not just your HDL. So HDL is your high-density lipoproteins, and these are complex proteins that actually transport fat throughout your body, okay? So just having said all this, I know I'm kind of getting in the weeds, but just basically you need to be asking the right questions to get the right information. Just like your hemoglobin A1C, it may be in the 5.7 to 6 range, and your doctor's like, oh, well, they may not even mention it to you, but that is a problem. It could be an indication of cancer, but it also is an indication that you are glycated. Your red blood cells are glycated. That means they have sugar around them, and you are at risk for diabetes, especially if you are overweight, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight. Okay, so as a reminder to ask your doctor for specific testing of cholesterol particle size, and so if your small particles higher, then that's something that can be addressed, definitely addressed with a healthy health journey. Okay, so now I want to review with you, because I think this is two things I want to show you first. First, I want you to know about this. This is real salt, and that's the name of it, real salt. It's made by Redmond. If you're not using this salt, I strongly encourage you to use it. And the reason is because it has trace minerals. You see those little specks in there? Those are literally minerals that your body needs that have been removed. Hey, Alexis. Hey, Tanya. That have been removed from your iodized salt. So, you want to ditch that. Of course, use up what you have. You also will get some of the trace minerals in the Himalayan salt, but not as much as you're going to get in the Redmond salt. The other thing I would encourage you, and many of you are watching and you're considering doing my 5-day challenge, and you're considering getting healthy. And so one of the most important tools that you can have, is this. And this is a Keto Mojo, all right? And it is a device that can check your ketones, but more importantly, it can check your blood sugar. And you want to have one of these because you want to know what your blood sugars are, because that is a direct response to your pancreas secreting insulin, and if it's working or not. And so if you're checking your blood sugars, and you can go back, like I can click and go back and see what mine were this morning. I can see, so I was in 1.0 ketones, and 91 was my glucose, which is where I want it to be. I want it to be below 100 in the morning, and I can directly relate that back to what I've eaten, okay? So I really encourage you to make this purchase. I think they're $90, and then you can, like I just had to order some new strips, but your insurance will pay for it probably. Okay, so since I started this program, who is that? Alexis. My sodium levels are right where they should be. The real salt does make a difference, yes. And honestly, your sodium levels and your blood pressure, all of that, it really is not salt so much as it is sugars, and we know that now. So, get your healthy fats and all that in. Okay, so I wanted to show you those two products. And then I want to review with you the overwhelming, and then I'm going to jump off, the overwhelming benefits of getting healthy, all right? And doing the ketogenic diet, getting the sugars out of your body, and making good choices. The overwhelming benefit. Number 1, your blood sugar goes down. Number 2, your blood glucose goes down. Number 3, your heart rate goes down. Number 4, your blood insulin goes down. And we know now that insulin in the blood, excessive amounts, causes high blood pressure. And that's why my clients immediately, in the first week or two, come off their blood pressure medicines, at least most of them. Number 5 is your CRP, your C-reactive protein, which is the amount of inflammation in your body, goes down. Your triglycerides go down. Remember, I talked about that. If your triglycerides are up, it could very likely be that your thyroid hormones are low. And if you just maybe got some Synthroid, I'm not trying to practice medicine here, but I'm just saying there are other things to do other than statin drugs, okay? Number 7, your sleep improves. Number 8, your gut health improves. You're actually going to be starving those bad microbiomes and feeding the good microbiome with good food. Number 9, your brain fog is going to decrease. Number 10, your pain is going to go down. And I'll be honest with you, when I started this 7 years ago, I didn't know people had so much pain. I didn't know people walked around in pain because I didn't have any pain. But almost every one of my clients has pain. Yep. So let's see who that is. Hey, Brenda, good to see you. All right, number 11, your edema will go down. That's your swelling. And 12, your kidney function will improve. And your autoimmune or your inflammation will go down. So many benefits. What are you waiting on? What is it that's keeping you from... I was talking to my husband last night, and he has a friend, he and his wife both. He's like, when I get on the phone with him, they're in so much pain, and they just talk about it all the time and how bad they feel and how weak they are and how low energy they have. And he's like, I don't get it. Nancy has helped dozens of people. Why wouldn't they start getting healthy? Okay. So I'm like, but you have to be ready. And you know, and there's so many things that you can do, and so much more than just nutrition. I mean, that's key. But I wrote down some things. I mean, I just started writing down. So sleep is important. Meditate. All these things I teach in my program. I teach you how to get a full night's sleep. Okay. Last night I went to bed. I didn't wake up all night. I didn't go to the bathroom. You know, that's so much about healthy, okay? So, because here I am here at 9 o'clock at night. I got up at, I think, 6:30, and I've been going strong all day, pressure washing the house, the whole house, on the outside, the porches, and, you know, just doing so many things, all right? Meditation, I teach that. I teach you how to de-stress, okay? Teach you ketosis, intermittent fasting, healthy food choices. I lead an exercise group in the program. It's just 20 minutes of working out. I teach you about what are the supplements you need. And one of the most important things I'm going to say is avoiding alcohol. And people think, oh, well, now she's a party pooper. Well, I tell you what's a party pooper is having fatty liver and, you know, having diabetes and having disease and autoimmune and inflammation and all of those things. And, you know, drinking alcohol on a regular basis, you know, it really taxes your liver. It really taxes your liver because your liver is doing a lot of work just getting rid of those unhealthy foods that you're eating, all right? And then when you throw alcohol on that, it has to really work on that. I mean, oh my gosh, it's just overload. And so there's just so many reasons. And smoking the same, you know, especially vaping. You're just putting so many toxic things in your body, and it's got to really work hard to process all of those things and to dump those off. So I want to help you. If you're interested in my free 5-day jump start, it's going to be starting Saturday. I need you to let me know right away. I've got about 20 people so far, and we're just going to have a great time. It's going to be in a private Facebook group, and you're just going to learn a lot. You're going to be encouraged, and you're going to learn exactly how to get started. So let me hear from you, and y'all have a great night. Hit the love button before you leave, and please, please, please share this video. Hey, Tanya, I've got your name down.